Hey everyone, we're back for another workout of the day. Today is 4 rounds for time, as in the 4-letter word LOVE. It is called Love is in the Air in honor of Valentine's Day this week. It is 10 alternating dumbbell snatches, 20 sit-ups, 30 mountain climbers, 20 kettlebell swings, and 10 weighted lunges. So you're going to complete this 4 times. But the catch is, in between rounds 2 and 3, you're just going to complete 8 burpees. So we're going to go through all of those movements and the modifications, and then you can get started. Okay, so our first movement is going to be our alternating dumbbell snatches. So for this one, you're going to need just 1 dumbbell because we're going to be alternating hands. So an important part of the dumbbell snatch is that you want to make sure that you are engaging your whole body here because you want to keep that back nice and straight, that core super tight as you go through the movement. And when you come up, you want to make sure you're extending your arm fully up, no half bent arm here. So we're going to use our legs to help with the momentum to drive the dumbbell upward. So we want to really stay upright as we come up. So we don't want to be bending or swinging. We want to use our legs to push up, which is going to help drive the dumbbell up. So there's 2 ways you can kind of do this. This is the way that I like to do it, probably because I do Olympic weightlifting, so it feels more natural for me to do it this way. But I like to start with the dumbbell horizontal here, and I grab the dumbbell. Again, I'm coming down into a squat, my knees are out, and I'm going to grab onto that dumbbell and I'm gonna pull up, so my elbow is coming out, and then I'm gonna push up overhead. And you can catch it in a quarter squat and then stand all the way up. So this is what it looks like. The other way you can do this, and this is I think more of the CrossFit way, is to start with the dumbbell this way, and you're gonna kind of swing up and out. And again, to me, this doesn't feel very natural because I do Olympic weightlifting. So something to make it a little bit faster if you're looking to get that time up. When you're coming down, switch hands on the way down, touch, up, switch, and that will make it go a bit faster if you're looking for speed here. So modifications, you can also use a kettlebell. Just with the kettlebell, make sure you're not wearing a watch of any sorts. And again, it's that same movement, but it needs to be smooth because at the top, that kettlebell is going to hit the back of your wrist really hard if it's not a nice smooth movement. So we can also do 10 on each side with our band here. So we're going to come down that same movement all the way up, and then we'll switch sides. We can also do plate to overheads here. So you can take your plate, touch the ground all the way up at the top. Again, we want to reach so our arms are straight overhead. We're keeping that back straight, our chest up, looking forward. Okay. The next movement is our sit-up. I think we all are very familiar with our sit-ups by now. So we're gonna come down, you're gonna touch those toes on the way up. Make sure you're coming flat on the ground. Don't do a half sit-up, shoulders all the way back. Modifications to the knees. Or you can do crunches, but no putting your hands behind your head. Just reach for your shins here. And again, make sure you're coming all the way back at the end there. The next movement is going to be our mountain climbers. So keep in mind, we want to stay low. So I think a common mistake with mountain climbers is that our butts are up. So to really get the full movement here, we want to come into like a bear crawl position, and keeping our back flat. Our knees are going to be off the ground, and we're going to engage that core as we do this. You can do wider ones as well, and that can also help work your obliques a little bit there too. So modifications, we can use our box or bench, and we can, again, we want to set low and just do that. Okay, kettlebell swings. We're going to be about hip width apart, slightly wider. We are never going to be in a squat at any time during this movement. No squats. Let me grab my kettlebell. Okay. So we're about hip width apart. We're going to bring our hips back. So we're not bending down. We're bringing our hips back towards the wall or whatever's behind you, okay? So we're bringing our hips back, our chest and back are staying in a nice straight line. We're never gonna bend. We want a nice flat back as we come back. So as we come back, our knees are slightly bent, only slightly, not all the way bent. And we're gonna bring our hands back to the point where the outside of our wrist is going to touch the inside of our thighs. That's as far as back as we want. We don't want to be leaning all the way back here. That's crazy and ridiculous, and also can really get that lower back injured and your shoulders coming forward too much. So stay straight, back flat, just to the inside of your wrist here. No squatting. So if you're touching anywhere above that wrist, that means you're probably either squatting down or you're leaning over just too much. So then we're going to use that hip drive to thrust that kettlebell up to about eye height level. So a good thing to do is to look at yourself in a mirror while doing this, or videotape yourselves just doing a couple reps, just to make sure you're doing it right, making sure you're coming up the right height, making sure your back is straight, making sure you're not bending over too much or doing a silly squat thing. This is what it looks like. I'm not pulling the kettlebell up. I'm using that momentum and I'm squeezing my butt at the top. And I know all you ladies out there love those hip thrusts, those glute bridges. So this does that same sort of movement for you, just a little bit more effective in things. You can also use a dumbbell if you don't have a kettlebell, and it's the same movement. If you don't have any of those and you have your trusty band, or you're just not ready for the weight or not quite understanding how to do that, we are going to take our band, step in our band, on our band, and we're going to pull it through our legs, and we're going to do that same movement with the band. Okay. Last but not least, we have our weighted lunges. So many options with weighted lunges. First, we can do the modification for the weighted lunges and not add the weight, so just body weight. So we're going to come down into that nice 90-degree angle, come back up. We do not want to be reaching all the way out here. Everything should be 90-degree. Leg back here, leg up here, always in that 90-degree. So options, we can do the suitcase carry, which is 2 dumbbells, Now, what you really want to keep in mind when you're having 2 dumbbells is that it's easy to let those shoulders go forward. So we really want to squeeze our shoulders together in the back. So our shoulder blades should be squeezed together, and then we're going to stay nice and straight upward. As we do this, we can do 1 dumbbell in the front rack position. So we're just going to hold it in front of us like so. We can also use our band. So we're going to have to do 1 at a time, where we're going to step forward with the opposite hand, or we can use a band around our legs. For the resistance. Or, so many options, I told you. We can use a barbell. So we can do it in the back rack position, where we can take it off the rack, or we can clean it on the floor and press overhead. And we can hold it here, make sure our elbows are down, not out. That will take pressure off of your neck. Or we can do the front rack position, and don't let that, make sure you're staying nice and tall. Don't let the barbell pull you forward. Okay. So again, just the caveat to this workout is that after round 2 is completed, we're just gonna get those 8 burpees in just 1 time. So it's only torture once. We're gonna come down, kick our legs out, touch the ground, come back up, finish it with a jump up. Modification would be walking out with or without the push-up. You can do a sprawl, which is just out. Make sure you're coming all the way out, not half, out, all the way out, all the way up, and jump at the top. You can also use a box and walk out, push up, walk back in, and so forth. So that is the workout. It's 4 rounds with that halfway point of 8 burpees.